Hello, I'm Christopher Walker, and here today we're going to look at the Cambridge English First exam and the use of English paper that is now combined with the reading paper. The use of English is the first part of the exam. So since 2015, it's become part of the reading paper as well, and it makes a lot of sense. Use of English and reading are skills that are very closely linked. You now have 1 hour and 15 minutes to do this new combined paper, and for the use of English there are 4 parts and with a total of 30 questions. The first part is what we call a multiple choice cloze. Now in this part of the exam you'll have a text with several missing words, and at the bottom of the text there will be 4 options. You have to choose the right one. Well, what should you do when you approach this test? Well, there's a reason that the use of English paper is now combined with the reading paper. You need to understand how the sentence works. This is a reading skill. And then look at the possible answers. A lot of the time you'll find that the missing word is a linking word. Although, whereas, however. But these words are not always interchangeable grammatically or for meaning. Many of the options will look possible, but only one will fit perfectly. So look at the words around the gap, and especially if there are any prepositions. For example, if you have look before the gap and then after around, over, through, only one of those will fit correctly. And Cambridge likes to distract you by using big words and difficult grammar. But if you look more closely at the sentence, you can take away a lot of the words that are not very necessary. And sometimes this helps to make the answer seem a little bit more obvious. So let's have a look at the first task. To do this, you'll need the specifications PDF or the exam handbook PDF, and the link to this is in the description below. We're just going to look at the first 4 questions in more detail, but you can have a look at as much as you like. So let's have a look at the answers. Well, for 1 we want the word rather. We say rather than. Instead would fit, but with of, not than. So we'd need to change the original text to make this word fit. Number 2 we say result, because you result in something, whereas you lead to. Cause and mean could also work, but we would need to rewrite the whole sentence. For number 3 we want access. You can access information. This is what we call a collocation. The 2 words go together. And then 4 we say expense, because we need an uncountable noun here. Okay, for the others you can have a look. If you need more help, please go to your teacher and ask, or ask each other, or leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Part 2 is what we call the open cloze. It's very similar to part 1, except here you don't have any options. You can't just choose one of 4 options. You have to think of the word yourself. How should you approach this task? Well, the answer is most likely a short word. In later Cambridge exams, sometimes the answer is a bigger word. But here we're looking at small words. Things like auxiliary verbs, be, do and have. Perhaps prepositions, in, on. Modal verbs, will, might. And linking words. If you think the word is hypochondriac or hypothetically, you're probably wrong. So think about those other little words that fit the sentences together. But do be very careful with your spelling. Since you have to write the word yourself, if you spell it wrong, it's your own fault and you'd lose the point. Look carefully at the whole sentence. Remember that there is a reason for the use of English being combined with the reading paper. So check to see if there's a verb to go with the subject in the sentence. Check to see if there's a subject to go with a verb. And always look for agreement between these. And sometimes it helps to ask yourself questions about the information in the text. If there is a missing word, use the other words to make a question. Ask, why is this so? Sometimes that will give you the answer straight away. So have a look at the task and we'll be just looking at the first few. You can do as many as you like and check with the answer key in the PDF. So for number 9, what do we want? Well, we want the word where. So think about the question you need for the information in the first part of the sentence. You have some information but you don't know where it comes from. So ask yourself, where? Number 10, the word is so. Again, make a question. How impressed was the person that they then wanted to go home to do this? They were so impressed. For number 11, we want myself. So who did the narrator teach? For number 12, in. We say to have a degree in something. So this is something of a set expression. And then for 13, we want which or that. And this is because we're looking at a relative clause. Part 3 of the paper is about word formation. Here you have a short text with several words missing. For each word that's missing, you're given the base or root of the word. You have to change this to make a new word. Think about the ways in which we make words in English. We add ly for adverbs. Sometimes we put meant or shun to make a noun. And or ent are quite common for adjectives. Practice using affixes. These are the prefixes that go at the beginning of the word, like and the suffixes that go at the end of a word. For example, leave for adverbs. So think about those negatives. Miss, ill, in. Learn the patterns. But then look at the sentence carefully. Think about what kind of word is needed. If it's a noun, think about if it should be plural. Is it one of something or many of something? For adjectives, do we want a positive or a negative adjective? Look very carefully at the sense of the sentence. And again, be very careful with your spelling, especially with double letters. So, try the task and we'll have a look together at the answers. So, here are the answers. For number 17, we want producer. This is the person who produces, or the place. So we're talking about China, and they are the people who produce garlic. For 18, illness or illnesses. So we need the noun from ill. For 19, effective, and this is the positive adjective. 20, scientists. Note that it's plural. For 21, we want the word addition, and this is a set phrase that means the same as furthermore, in addition. Pressure for number 22, and this is a noun. It forms a collocation with the word blood. We talk about your blood pressure. Then disadvantage. So look at the whole sentence to see that we need a negative meaning or connotation. And then finally 24, spicy. It's a simple adjective, but remember to take out the E. Spicy does not have E. Spice does. Then we come to part 4, the keyword transformation. In this exercise, you're given a sentence and then a key word that you must use in writing a new sentence that carries the same information. What should you do? Well, remember the rules. You have to use between 2 and 5 words, no more, no less. Contractions, where you combine 2 words, count as 2 words, and the indefinite article a or an is still counted as a word. There are usually 2 transformations in every exercise, and this is why each question is worth 2 marks. So look for changes in voice, perhaps active to passive, direct to reported speech, going from a particular verb to a phrasal verb, but there should be 2 of these. But remember, it's always worth trying. So even if you don't get the answer exactly right, you might still be able to pick up 1 point if you were close. So let's have a look at a few of these. So let's look at some answers. First, number 25, we say a good idea to go. So we change from one set expression to another, but now that we're using the countable noun idea, we need to remember the article a. Then we have talented, that he or she. So here we're changing talent from a noun to a verb, and we're making it into a comparative structure. And then finally, if he or she knew what or the. So we change direct question to reported yes or no question. We need to use if to do that. And then we say what time or the time. So a few last tips to help you through the exam. It's really important that you read every sentence carefully. Be very careful about the information that you're given and look closely at its meaning. Don't get distracted by difficult vocabulary. Look at the information you really need. Take away all the others. And if you're not good at spelling, well, now is the time to practice. And generally, speaking of practice, the more practice of these tests and these kind of questions that you do, the better you'll be in the exam. It really is a case of the more experience you have, the better you will do. Thank you.